In today's environment where there's more gig work going on, a lot of folks are working or looking for at-home virtual opportunities. The same principles still apply. Even if you are just selling on eBay, this process still applies because most of us who don't really know a lot about eBay don't know how to sell a pair of Nikes, okay? Really don't know the process. What's the profit margins, So it's really important to get with folks who have a level of expertise in that area and learn from them.
Welcome to another episode of the Wise Retirement Podcast. I'm Angela Kay.
And I'm Reginald Thornton. We're your host, traveling with you today on this, today and every other day on this financial journey. So today we're excited to be joined by Kenneth Pressley, owner of Pressley Tax Services. Welcome to the show, Kenneth. Happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, welcome. Okay, Kenneth, you're a successful tax accountant with a thriving business, but you decided that you needed extra income or a second stream of income because let's just face it, it's risky to have one stream of income nowadays, right? So,
Very difficult.
yeah, even for high income earners. So can you tell us what made you realize you needed to start building other streams of income?
Well, journey is second streams of income started actually when I was about 16 years old. Had a job working at a supermarket, pushing carts and bagging groceries. And I was a musician when I was much younger. And I wanted to buy a brand new trumpet, which my father was like, well, no, you want this new horn, you have to pay for it yourself.
That's fair.
Parts was not going to cut it, okay? I had a buddy down the street who was cutting yards, has his own little landscaping business, and he was struggling, getting equipment and everything else. So I said, you know what? Let me take one or two of my paychecks and invest into your business. I didn't want to cut grass. I didn't want to do the work. I said, let me buy in and earn a little money off of your labor.
At 16, is this? At 16?
Yeah, at 16.
I like how you're thinking already.
Right.
And that's pretty much how my journey started. I've kind of stayed on that path most of my life. Any career that I've had, I've always had a second, third, fourth, or fifth stream of income. If nothing else, some streams were just to give me seed money to invest in another business opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just making your money work for you as much as possible. Later in life, I was working for Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I worked for them for about 19 years. And I pretty much was like, hey, this is great, but working at night gave me my days free to do other businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done anything from helping friends start dry cleaners, janitorial services, just a little bit of anything and everything, to always have a second or third or fourth stream of income coming in.
So you essentially, so you bought into your friend's business at 16.
Yes.
And you have done other businesses along the way. What is the ratio of the businesses that you bought into or the ones that you started up on your own? Like, you did your friend at 16. How many other businesses did you buy into to get the seed money? Or, you know what I'm saying? Because you were turning your money over in different ways.
Probably bought into more businesses than I've started in my lifetime.
Oh, interesting.
Because for me, it was also the path of least resistance. Didn't take a lot of effort, a lot of time. If I was able to manage my money correctly, I can pull from one paycheck or two paychecks and seed money. They were never huge investments, okay? Just enough where I could start making some money off the work that they were doing.
Right. So just a quick follow-up to that. What then was the first business of yours outside of investing in somebody else's business, and why'd you choose that one? What was it about that one that made you say, you know what, I don't want to put money into Angie's business. I'm gonna start my own.
My very first business was in college. I started a quote unquote a research company. In essence, I was doing all the legwork. Back then, of course, in the mid 80s, we didn't have Google and the internet and everything else. So we were literally going to the library.
Right. Yep.
So if I wasn't at Woodruff Library, I was at Georgia State's library. I may be over at Emory University's library. And it was my job to collect the data and the notes, and I would apply them to folks for their research papers.
Wow.
And that was, then I started bringing other classmates into the business as well, because,
Could have used you.
Right. We could have all used you.
you only personally yourself can only handle 3, maybe 4
Right.
research papers a week. But once I started bringing other folks in, I'm able to do 12, 13, so on and so forth.
Okay. Okay. You're advanced.
No, not at all, not at all.
Starting so
You
young,
know, they
I tell you, but
they say
Yeah.
necessity is the mother of invention, okay?
necessity
It's a
is the
fact.
mother of invention. Wow.
That is a fact.
So the folks who are out here like myself who need to get some extra earnings coming in, what is the blueprint that you can share? Like what are the steps I can write down as you're speaking to us on how to start that first extra stream of income if we were to
First is
start something?
First will be research. Research in reference to finding out, one, the things you enjoy doing. Because if you
Mm,
don't enjoy doing it, you're not going to stay in it for a long period of time, regardless of the amount of money you're making. So you want to research first what you like doing, and then is what you like doing accessible to you.
mm,
And
mm.
when you find it's accessible to you, then let's research what it takes to actually get going in this industry. For instance, I have a couple of clients, one in Georgia and one in Florida. They recently got into the medical courier business,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're actually booming with it. I'd never really heard of it before until they signed on as my clients. But they did the research. It was something that interested them because they're already doing gig work like Uber Eats.
Yep. Yep. So they were already spending time in the car. That was just
Exactly.
yeah.
So they already had the interest of doing that level of work, but they wanted to do something where more of their time and labor went into their pocket versus I'm just getting a percentage that Instacart or Uber Eats sends back to me. So they
Very fair.
researched the carrier business. They take what certifications does it take? Is it bonding involved? So on and so forth. They did the research on, what's the wear and tear on my car going to be? What's going
Hmm.
to be my time versus payout? Because that's also very crucial. Okay. How much time am I putting in versus the payout that I'm receiving? So once they did the research, got going, their business are extremely successful. And that's something that almost anyone can get into these days. If you have a vehicle, that's an open business. You don't have to have a degree in that area. You don't have a lot of specials. There are some minor little certifications you have to and background checks you have to pass. But after that, it's a wide open business.
Good, good.
One of the things I wonder when you're starting side businesses that you have hurdles that you have to kind of overcome. And to the point that you were just making there about, I guess you can avoid certain hurdles if you do the research, like you said. And I like the fact because I've been hearing a lot about the medical courier business for a while. I just don't have I'm not the person to be in my car all day. Although I hear it is a very, very profitable business. But from what are the main hurdles that people kind of have to kind of overcome when it comes to that starting the side business?
One of the hurdles is fear, lack
Mm,
of creativity, and lack of commitment. Once you X out those 3 right there, you're fine. When we've all were conditioned, study hard, go to school, go to college, get a good job, so on and so forth. So for most of us, that's how we were conditioned. So to do something
true.
outside of that is a little fearful. So that's why I say you have to first eliminate those first couple of hurdles, and then you can move forward. And it actually becomes very exciting at that point.
Okay, so let's just say we start with what we love. Start with where we are in terms of our experience, our passion, our knowledge, our skills. Do some research. And what would be the next step after we do the research on maybe it's not medical courier, maybe it's something else? What would be the next steps?
Okay, so let's take an industry like real estate, something I got into relatively early. An industry like real estate is more than just, oh, let me go out and find property to invest in. It's understanding how to research contractors, if not even becoming a contractor yourself. That saves a lot of money. Understanding code requirements. If I'm getting a house near the Atlanta University Center here in Atlanta, for instance, I want to use it for student housing. Well, what are the code requirements for that? How many
Mm,
bathrooms do I
mm,
need? How many bedrooms? How many rooms can qualify as a bedroom if I don't have a closet? The minor things like that. So once again, it all falls back to research. Okay, almost rolling up your sleeves, and
mm.
to go to work.
Yeah.
I tell everybody when you're going after multiple streams of income, none of it is get rich quick. If you're looking for that, it's not going to happen. Everything requires a little bit of work.
Hmm. Yeah, I was wondering that as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, most people jump into things because they feel like it's a quick turnaround. Nothing is a quick turnaround. And when you were talking about real estate, I wondered when you said real estate, I thought, okay, well, maybe you're talking about corporate or something like that. But you were specifically talking about flipping, which requires having contractors, real estate people on deck. Like it's a team of people to get you to that next level.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so dealing with that's the question I have. So having a trusted team, even going back to when you were in school and with researching, you started off with just a few people doing the research, but then you brought in 3 or 4 other people because things started getting big for you. So do you think that not, I know you believe this, but having a trusted team is a key piece to getting this done if you're doing something outside of yourself?
Is always a huge, huge component. And your team should also consist of hopefully someone who can mentor you, someone who's already been down that path. If you're
Mm,
doing something that is not spanking brand new, and really nothing in this world is new. So if you can grab a mentor along the way to add to your team, that is significant.
yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point.
For sure. For sure. We all need some mentors on this journey. So we've got research, find out what it is you can do. Do your research, do your market research. Find out the cost benefit versus your time.
Exactly.
Okay, so then what other step other than we've got our team, we've done our research, we're ready.
We are.
Are there some quick examples of small action steps someone could take this week to start creating their extra cash flow?
There are a lot. Okay, so for instance, depending upon the industry that you're looking at, if we're going to stay in the real estate realm, okay, if you're able to secure a property, which sometimes it doesn't have to be that you bought a property. Once again, it's about creativity. You can actually find a property you can lease with the option to sublet.
Okay.
Okay, this sometimes are hard to find, but if you can find that type of deal, now you're in the real estate game now. You're actually managing a rental property.
Right. Right.
and and that allows you now to kind of take the ebbs and flows of the industry. You're learning a little bit about securing tenants, managing tenants. So, 'cause a lot about real estate isn't just managing a property; it's also managing your tenants.
Correct.
Right. Right. Right.
Correct.
And so once again, it's just finding out how do I get going. Can I take what we call a natural first step, or do I take a creative first step?
Mm,
When I first got into real estate, it was more of a creative first step. I got started in real estate with mobile homes.
Wow.
Yes, yes. I was going to all the meetings,
Oh my
meeting all the real estate investors. I didn't have a dime to my name. Not a
my
dime. I just wanted to be in the mist, okay?
right. Right. Right.
But I found a gentleman who had retired and his wife had moved to Florida. And he was miserable at home without her. He said, I can't leave because I have these mobile homes.
Hmm.
He says, Ken, do you want these mobile homes? I was like, why would I want a mobile home? What am I going to do with a mobile?
Mhm.
Right. Right.
To the next meeting, and he showed me his profit and loss statements on the mobile homes.
Mm,
And oh, wow, okay.
mhm.
And then he made me an offer because back in that day, you could still do loan assumptions.
Well, okay.
He
Hmm.
says, Ken, I'll make you a deal. I'm going to let you assume the mortgage on 5 of my mobile homes for $500.
Wow. What a
And I was
deal.
like, I want to say, I don't have $500. I don't want to say that. Okay.
Right. Right.
Shit.
Right.
I got a few things I got to take care of. How can we do this in 10 days? Because in 10 days, I had my paycheck,
Okay.
gave me a chance to figure out what I was going to do with my paycheck. And when I got that paycheck, I said, well, let me call Georgia Power. Let me call Land and Gaslight. So I'm going to be a little late paying
I'm gonna
you.
be just a smidge. Like, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just as
And I went ahead and I invested and I secured those mobile homes. And then I started using all those mobile homes to lease with the option to buy.
Yeah.
Homes are depreciating assets, so you never really want to keep them past 5 years.
Mm.
Like, okay, that's good to know. All
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So I started doing all the lease with the option to buy. So I was making great money. They were easy to acquire, and it was a wonderful way for me to get started in the real estate business. with virtually no money in my pocket.
That was the thing I was about to ask you because you were talking about the natural steps and the creative steps. If I wanted to go into real estate, I guess because I'm thinking the the sublet way is a great way to go because I'm not really on the hook for the actual real estate of the property. I'm just really managing it at that point.
Correct.
And I wonder if that is a good way to get in. I would certainly, and you could probably speak more to this, speak about how to use. So if the rent is normally, if you go through the apartment complex or the whomever, is $1,200, how do you marketly value where you are, include your fee for managing it, paying, like that's a whole process.
It is a process. So hopefully when you are leasing, you're able to lease a property that you can then sublet for a little bit more than what your lease payment is. Same with
Right,
things if you
right,
had acquired a mortgage for a property. If you have a
right, right.
$1,200 mortgage, you want to at least be able to rent that property out for $1,300, $1,400. So
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
same exact process and principles apply. And if you can do that, it works out very well. You have to be willing to be told no 1,001 times
Mm.
to find the deal that's going to work for you. And
Mm,
that's another obstacle people have. They don't like being told no. They get
mm,
dejected. And I'm like, no, it's the 8% rule, really, okay? Got to reach out 100 times. Out of 100 reaches, 8% of them may become positive for you.
mhm.
And that's what I've always worked on all my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to reach out to 100 people to get the 8 yeses that I need.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good tip.
And it may remind, basically, your story, Kenneth, reminds me of preparation meeting your action steps. So before the mobile home came to you, you were actually out there doing what you're intended to do, which is to find ways of making extra income. So you started with your mindset to me, and then you started taking specific actions toward your goal. And then look what fell in your lap. I believe that happens. That's the way it happens. You got to do those steps.
Correct. It's not by accident. I put myself in environment of the people that were in that industry, of the other investors. Okay. And you just never know. Okay. A lot of times you say you always put yourself in a room where everybody else is smarter than you. They know more than
Mm,
you, they have more experience than you. And something will happen for you that way.
Well, I'm excited.
doesn't get much better than that. Yeah, no, I kind of like that a lot. I would have never thought to go to these meetings and just sit and wait for opportunity. And not that you were actually in there hoping something would fall in your lap, but it did, and it all worked out in the right way.
It worked out. My intention of going to the meetings was really just to acquire knowledge.
Right.
Let me learn, listen what other investors are doing. That
Yeah.
was my whole purpose. I'm in there with my
Yeah.
notepad. I'm just scribbling, taking notes all day long. And then after a while, folks will notice the process you're going through. Then they'll begin to engage with you. And that's just really almost any industry. Doesn't have to be real estate. In today's environment where there's more gig work going on, a lot of folks are working or looking for at home virtual
Mm,
opportunities.
yep. True.
The same principles still apply. Even if you are just selling on eBay, this process still applies because most of us who don't really know a lot about eBay don't know how to sell a pair of Nikes, okay? Don't know the process. What's the profit margins, so on and so forth, So it's really important to get with folks who have a level of expertise in that area and learn from them.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
All right. So I think what I've gathered from our conversation is this. One, do your research.
Yes.
Two,
Do your research.
you got to get a team together. You got to get in a room of people who are smarter than you. Start going
Mm,
to business meetups. Start going to whatever you're interested in. Maybe find some meetups in your area. Start getting in those conversations, right? Because things happen when you're in motion. And then I think
mm,
mindset was a big piece of your success and continues to be that mindset of, okay, I'm going to figure it out. And yeah. Do you have any final words of encouragement for our listeners here?
I just want everyone to once again think creatively. Critical and creative thinking is crucial in business even your regular career, critical and creative thinking will take you a long way. If we only stay inside the box, if we only color inside the lines, we'll be limited. That ceiling will hit us quicker than we think.
Woo! I'm on.
He's talking a word right here.
Right. Be passing the plate up in here in a minute. So, with all that information, do you have? I know you have social ways that people can reach out to you. You mind sharing that?
My ways of being reached are actually very limited. I'm extremely old school. Okay.
Don't tell me you have a flip phone. Then I might have to go, Kenneth.
Let me slide this off the counter then. Okay, move it out the way. No, it's not a flip phone. I do have a website, PressleyTaxServices.com.
PressleyTaxServices.com. Okay.
.com. And the fastest way to reach me usually is by phone call or email. And I can all be reached at kbpressley@yahoo.com.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Kenneth, thank you. Received a bunch of jewels from you tonight, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you.
I thank you for having me.
Now, I want us to come back next week. We're going to be speaking to a business owner who's going to share her ups and downs of starting a business, as well as how she hit an 800 credit score.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed the show. If it helped you at all, hit subscribe on YouTube so you never miss a show. Like and share and comment so that others can, learn a little bit about Kenneth Jewels too.
Mm-hmm.
But we will see you next week with a brand new episode. As Ange said, I'm Reg.
And I'm Angela Kay. I want to give everyone tonight a good tip. Kenneth will be back and to talk about how do we take care of our taxes with these extra gigs and become more tax efficient. So stay tuned for that episode coming up as well. I'm Angela Kay, reminding you that we're on this journey together. Until next time, take care.
Welcome to the ride.